Right, we've got to take off the fuel tank and remove the exhaust. So the exhaust has to come off first, and then we take off the heat shields, and then we can work on the fuel tank. So I'm going to start heating up the bolts at the front just to sort of break their seal, and then we can get those undone. Hopefully we won't shear them off or anything. So just heating up the nuts of the front section of the exhaust pipe so we can take the whole section out, ready to remove the fuel tank. So those are pretty well fastened in there despite heating them and using WD-40, so I'm not going to carry on until I round them off. I've ordered a damaged bolt removal set, so that should be down in a couple of days. This is why I don't like messing with exhaust really, changing them for different exhausts is all a pain. So I can actually get round it because the heat protection is loose. You can see there, I can just about get the fuel tank out like it is, so I'm going to start loosening that off, and I should be able to just drop that down, and then when the socket set turns up for the bolts, I'll take the exhaust off as well. This is what you'll see at the back of your fuel tank. That's where the straps are attached. So undo your clips on your fuel filler nozzle thing underneath here that leads up to the fuel filler cap. Take your lid off, and then this will push in like that, and you can withdraw that from underneath the wheel arch. Just put the cap on, rest that down there. It's only temporary, looks a bit dramatic. We are going to be changing all of these rubber pipes anyway, so they'll all be refreshed. Cheers guys. So the trolley jack is now supporting the fuel tank just where the straps are. Fuel lines are disconnected from the front of the car. I've actually just loosened the fuel filter as well, so that should hopefully drop down with the tank. Now I'm going to put the 30mm socket in between those two straps and undo the bolts up there, and then I should be able to lower the fuel tank down. Yeah, these are so corroded, so I've lowered the jack ever so slightly, and now I'm just easing out the bit that I just unbolted, one of the straps. So it's just caught on the wood there. So I'll take these out, and then what I'm going to do is just unhook them from the end of here. I've got another one at the other side, and then lower it down completely, and that is our tank out. Okay, there we go. Got the charcoal filter there. I need to just separate that one last wire there, so just watch that when it's being lowered down. Let me get this removed. All done. That's the entire fuel tank assembly of the Focus ST170. We've got the filler neck on there. I'm going to change that, and charcoal filter and the sensor and the pump, that's all going to be changed as well. And it also came out with a fuel filter attached, which seems to be the easiest way to do it, so that's going to come out as well. I'm just going to decant the fuel. It's got about a quarter of a tank in there. It's you know, very lucky that fuel is so cheap at the moment. Absolutely crazy. It's about £1.90 a litre at the moment here. So I don't know if you're watching in 5 years time, maybe that will be a good deal, maybe it won't be. I don't know, but we're going to take it out, give it a clean out. And if I just show you under the car here, this is what you'll have when your fuel tank is out. So we have the, it's actually pretty clean on the bit where the fuel tank's been protecting it. So we've got the sender connector there and the two lines for the fuel. This is that brake pipe I was telling you about. So this is the bit that wasn't done properly. It's very loose, and because the tank was in the way, they just cut it, and they cut it there and joined it up. I mean, it's okay, but I will be changing that for a nice new line all the way down. I don't like cuts and joins particularly. This will be changed. Somebody has already tried to use these spacers or these washers on there because it's obviously worn out, but I'll see if I can get new ones of these. It's quite funny because it's quite a common car, but the parts are sort of hit and miss really. It's I presume, you know, it's obviously 20 years old now, so they are getting a little bit harder to find. All of this is okay. This is just surface rust. I can clean that off and I can get some wax oil in there, give it a really good go. The aim was just to get everything out so I could properly seal it. The exhaust, as I mentioned earlier, I need to get some special sockets to take the exhaust off. I don't really want to get into cutting it because I don't really like aftermarket exhaust. I'll run this one for as long as I can. You know, it makes a nice sound, and it's the exhaust that's supposed to be on the car. So what I'm going to do now is go and clean up the fuel tank, take the fuel out, and wash everything else up and just see what I've got there and clean everything up so I can make a parts list. and get some parts in order. Well, the first thing we're going to do with this is clean it off, brush it all off, and then I'm going to undo this pipe here and put the remaining fuel into this can. I'm not sure whether it's contaminated or whatever, but I'm going to have a look at it. Then I'm going to give it a good wash off and then take this out, the sender unit, and have a look and see what condition it's like. Let's get the grips on these. These are in such bad condition, they just do not want to come undone. Okay, in we go. I'm not going to reuse the fuel because by the time it's been out of that end there, it's going to be contaminated. So that'll go in there and that'll be disposed of. So it's all had a really good clean. It's in very good condition, perfectly reusable. So now I can open bits up and take bits off without worrying about dirt and things getting inside it. The remainder of the fuel is in that tank now, so that needs to be thrown away. So now I'm just going to take this off and have a look at the sender unit and the fuel pump. Now the fuel pump sender unit can only be removed with the fuel tank out of the car. These are very hard to undo. There is a special tool from Ford that you can get, but I found the way to do it is to get a pair of oil filter change pliers, put them over the top of that, turn it, and then it will come out. This is it is working fine, but it's preventative maintenance. As the fuel tank is out, it's time to change that just to be on the safe side. Okay. There we go, let's see what we got. There we go, got the pump sitting in there. So we're going to have a look at that and see what's what. So I'm just going to reach in here and turn this whole fuel pump sender unit assembly anti-clockwise. And that should just lift out. Let's get the hand out. I've got the hand caught in the cookie jar. Let's move this out of the way so that will come out like that. And then the whole thing sort of comes out. You get the idea. I'm going to put the phone down and fiddle that out. And there we go. That's the whole unit there. So I'm going to change that. That's been in there 20 years. It's working fine, but after 20 years, it does need to be changed. And also, it's such a pain in the arse getting the tank off. You might as well do it. And inside the tank, it's actually in very good condition really. A few bits and bobs in there. Going to wash that out and put it all back together. And that's another job done. Yeah, let's have a quick look inside this fuel filter just to see how bad it is after God knows how many miles or how many years. Yeah, so it's pretty, actually it's pretty alright. A few filings there from where I sawed it, but it's obviously been changed before, but it's going to be changed anyway, so yeah, good. Okay, there we go, that's where we got to. So progress is always quick in the first few days of doing something like this, so I expect it to slow down a bit. So yeah, fuel tank is off. What I'm going to do next job is start to clean all this up basically, so that will take a little while to pick away at that. Obviously wait for the special sockets, get the exhaust off and take this tinware off, the heat shield. Then I can see if I can find new ones or get the clips or whatever else I need to do. Before the fuel tank goes back in, once I've sealed it, I'm going to have to do something with this brake line, the one I showed you. So what I'll probably do is route it backwards. I'll route it from here and then I will route it where it should be, straight the way down there, and then just leave the pipe in a coil under there so I can get the fuel tank back in, and then I can fit it when I can jack the front of the car up when the back is done, because at the moment it's a very low car anyway and I can't get under there to do that, so I'll have to basically finish the back and then do the front. So yeah, that's where we are, and yeah, I hope to get a bit more done in the next few days.